Hi, I'm Dr. Rajani. Thanks for joining me for a fun video today. I'm going through my top 5 Hollywood lips. We're going to look at them, dissect them apart a little bit, going to show you what I see in them, and as always in this channel, there's something for you. So when you are thinking about your own lips, even if it's vertical lip lines, know how important the lip is. We're going to look at shape, why those lips fit with the face. People make their money off of lips and eyes. So when you meet someone, imagine what you're doing. Your first thing, you look at their eyes, determine if they're healthy. You look at the lips, determine if they're sexy. Not quite as simple as that, but the eyes and the lips are two focal points, and it's why injectors can make a living and have done so off of only pretty much injecting lips. If you don't believe me, go look at their Instagram account. It's almost all lips, pretty lips. Why? Makes a big difference in balancing the face. It's not the easiest thing to do, because as we're going to look at these pictures of our celebrities, we're going to look at them at rest and smiling, and of course dynamics play a role. We're going to look at the angles. Now, I love your comments, so two things. Share these videos. This is a good one to share, because if you have friends, relatives, or people that have things that you think that they might be interested in, if they're developing vertical lip lines, if their lips you believe would balance their face, or other procedures we do like full face injections, neck lifts, facelifts, everything we're doing here in this channel, you can share this to get them onto the channel and maybe get some of these ideas and concepts if you don't want to come out and tell them directly. So share the video. And of course, I want to know your comments. What do you think at the end of the video are the top 5 celebrity lips for you? Let's dive into this in 3 seconds. Number 5, Eva Mendes. Now, she's a famous Hollywood actress, of course, been in several movies, films, and she's been quiet for the past several years. She's had a child, married to Ryan Gosling, and done some work with him as well professionally. But of course, my seal of approval, because he's from London, Ontario, Canada, where I went to medical school. Great memories there. So she's married to a Canadian, and she's very private. She's loves to work out, and she's has some philanthropical work as well. But let's have a little look at her. So Eva Mendes. So if we look at her face, and particularly today we're looking at lips, but of course the whole face has to fit in harmony. A slight canthal tilt upwards in the eyes, nice straight nose. The bigonial width is a little bit less than the bizygomatic, so a little bit of a V-shaped face, which we look for, although square can be in, and again, a narrow chin. As we age, of course, this becomes square. So before we even do lip fillers, we're looking at all these angles. Why? People come in at 40 and 50, this is already square, so we have to address by lifting up the face before we can do lip filler, because it will look unusual. Or if the chin is square, sometimes we make it a little narrower by doing chin filler at the same time. Now, if we look at her lip shape, we draw a line right through the center, right below the nose, into the chin. We would expect this to be 1 to 1.61, a golden ratio. Now you see she runs a narrow ergotrid, okay, so that area is narrow. You don't notice it as much because the beauty of the eyes and the beauty of the shape of the lip. Now, motor muscle movement makes a big difference in how we accept the look, and we're going to look at a picture of her smiling. However, also notice there's an asymmetry. She has a slight smirk as evidenced by these lines laterally and only one on her right. So if you look here, that motor movement here might lead to this asymmetry in the left upper lip. I'm telling you this because I don't want you to be focused on the asymmetry of your face. We're all asymmetric in many different ways, and when we do fillers, we're always working towards symmetry. However, a degree of asymmetry is normal. This is likely motor movement, and at rest she would be symmetric, okay? So symmetry, and I know you guys want a whole video on symmetry, and let's see what we can do. I'll keep it on the radar. But the ergotrid is short relative to the chin distance, but she runs it because of the beautiful eye and beautiful lip volume, of which she's right about 50-50. My whole video on the 50-50 lip many years ago, people were like, 50-50 lip. Now, in fairness, where is her family from? So genetics play a role. She was a descent of Cuban, okay, descent. So as you see, different ethnicities have different ratios, okay? We have to take this into consideration. At this point in time, people can have what they want, no matter where you're from. A lot of times we can create it with fillers or surgery. She was, I believe, born in New York, brought up in LA, something like that. So ancestry is important. Let's look at one more picture of her smiling. Okay, so here she is smiling. Motor movement plays a big role. This is her youthful state, of course, prior, and this is a more recent photo, and you can see a lot of similarities. Some things that look a little different or may have changed, not the reason of this video, but of course I get distracted. But look at the size of her teeth, whether she grew into them or it's not uncommon to have them adjusted for shape. It's very easy to remove a little bit of the inferior teeth, especially people do it in the front. But some changes you might see, but definitely had some volume in the lip here. Now, do you see an asymmetry? Okay, again, she's smiling. We see again, there's more lines on this side, so that fits. I'm not worried about those. Those can be treated one of many, many ways. Minimalistic. There's nothing needs to be done there. But you want to be preventive because they will become accordion lines. What's that have to do with lip? Again, the lip is really all about the whole lower face. I do want to show a little bit of asymmetry here. So for those of you who are absolutely fanatical about symmetry, notice that this is larger, this is smaller in the smile. We don't really notice that unless she might, but no one's going to notice that. And you can see even here laterally, there's it even looks like, could be anything, old scar tissue, it could be natural, it could be a little bit of lip filler, who knows. Bottom line, when she smiles, it's a nice symmetric smile. Okay, and that's a lot of times it's motor movement that we're looking at, okay? So the motor movement as opposed to the actual symmetry of the lip, but if there was an untoward symmetry, we would know. And we would look and it would be distracting. And you don't hardly even see the mole that's right here, because what are you looking at? The beauty of the teeth. I'm going to do a whole video on the teeth in the smile, and the beauty of the eyes and brows. It takes over. Even in this picture right here, there's not a lot, because it's a fuzzy picture, there's not a lot of skin glow, but you just notice that big beautiful smile. If we draw the line down from the lateral limbus, lateral colored part of the eye, when she smiles, see, a lot of people would say the lip should go from the inner limbus or even the center of the eye, okay? I always, in my videos, you'll see me talk about the lateral colored part of the eye, which is right along this line here, because models, stars of the world, have generally a wider mouth. Not always with the K-pop stars, but in the American culture, it's a common denominator. Number 4, Jessica Alba, an actress from California, been in many movies. She started the Honest Company for ethical consciousness for household products, baby and beauty, and so on. But let's have a little look at her face, and particularly her lips. So if we look here, certainly running a V-shaped face. That's the first thing that you see. If you look here, kind of a flat canthal tilt, not really a high cat eye formation that we see. Beautiful skin glow, mild nasal folds, pointed, somewhat of a square inferior chin, but a pointed shape given the lips. Now, if we focus on the lips, again, this is a fuller lip. You'll see that as a common denominator. A lot of people are going to say the 50-50 look or the higher upper lip is 2017. It fits today. People still walk in and they want a 50-50 or bigger upper lip, at least 50-50, maybe 60-40, but the 50-50 is really where it's at. The 1.61 to 1, Okay, so 1.61 to 1, meaning the bottom is 2/3 the upper, is an easy way to say it, or at least bigger. Really doesn't pan out today for what people are asking for, although it does look good on a lot of people. She's running 50-50. Her numbers for her chin to her ergotrid are more 1.61 to 1. So they're more standard, we would say, but a gorgeous full lip. And again, somewhat wider, given from this picture, looks like the bizygomatic is definitely wider than the jawline, at least anterior to the masseters. So her masseter might be imagined to be back here. At least she really tapers down. And this is another whole angle that we could study and talk about. And that's, I talk about a little bit in my V-line. Go back and watch my V-line, Korean V-line videos, and why that's so important. But again, a nice vermilion border and Cupid's bow. So that is your number 4. Number 3, one of my favorites, Brigitte Bardot. She's from Paris, France. She's a singer and an actress. A lot of people don't know she did both. She starred in over 47 films, and she had over 60 songs that were written and produced. And she's now 86 years old, an animal rights activist. She's sworn off cosmetic surgery. So she says she hasn't had anything done, doesn't want to get anything done, and we'll have a look. I feature her a little bit because she's a different cat in that her teeth aren't at the exact right angle that we would talk about. Her lip shape's a little different. Her teeth were spaced. I'm gonna do a whole video on dentition and the smile because it's important to go along with lips, lip size, shape, and filler. But let's have a little look at her face and look why she has one of the most sought after lips and lip shapes for beauty. So if we look at her here, beautiful V shape. We don't always get a straight on view. And if we look at her masseters here and the width here to her zygoma here, you can see we look for about 90% reduction of the bizygomatic width to the bigonial width. She's probably like 85%. Again, it's a picture, but we can assume from at least what we're seeing in the picture. I want you to look as well. We talk about symmetry. I don't want you to be 100% focused on symmetry, but what do you see? If you look, this top lip is different from this one. You look, it slopes down a little more. This one's a little more upright. This is absolutely normal. And when you fill, you can get it a little towards symmetry, but you can't overfill this side to get it. And some of it could be motor movement. You can manipulate the motor movement from the muscles that lift the lip, levator labii, and the zygomatic muscles. However, there's a major and a minor one over here. However, it's not the most important thing. As you see, what are you looking? Canthal tilt, beautiful eyes, beautiful brow, nice nose. Nose slightly upturned, you can see the nostrils. But let's go to the lip, because what makes it very beautiful, let's draw our lines down. Now she has a smaller mouth compared to our other models we just showed, but her bigonial width is a little bit narrower too. So it fits, so she can take a smaller mouth, and it has a nice look for her. So knowing these distances, and there are golden ratios there, the width of the nose should equal the width of the eyes if you're going by direct proportions. But look at the fullness in the lip. Notice even back then she had, what would we call it? It's not a 50-50, but it's close. The upper lip is certainly less in volume and the bottom is fuller, but it's not 1.61 to 1 golden ratio. So she has a fuller lip. And look at her teeth, prominent front teeth. And when you look on older side view pictures, the teeth tend to flip up. There's an angle of the teeth from the side view that is important to look at. Here she is smiling, and just beautiful, beautiful big eyes is what you notice, beautiful nose. But look at the smile. There's a protrusion of the upper jaw compared to the lower, And if I look at side views, it's beyond what we're talking about here, but the teeth lean forward. So there's an intertilt. There's also the space between them that one might say, oh, that's not right. That doesn't fit with perfection of the smile. And there's this gap here, 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 back here. But it totally works with her character, with her beauty. So although we talk about beauty and all these perfect angles and how things should be, it's about the totality of balance, character, and motor movement that makes it all work harmoniously together. And you see that gives her that projection and perfect vermilion border of the upper lip. So if I take the drawing away, look how the top lip is projecting forward, and the lower lip. So if you drew her AE line, the top lip would likely be too close, and go back and look at my videos of the AE line. Number 2, I'm just going to show you the lips, and you can likely tell me who it is. What do you think from this picture? Who is it? I'll go through a little bit again. Symmetry. Okay, let's look. This side a little bit smaller, maybe a little more full here. The GK point on this one is slightly elevated, okay, and lower here. So that this is the GK point here. That's something that we look at. Glogau-Klein point. Look at the lips. The top is almost a little bit bigger maybe in her lip, okay? And also, you're going to see this. The top lip has 3 tubercles. The bottom has 2 with a sulcus in the middle that people call the what? Keyhole lip. And people put the dental floss to make some nice Instagram pictures. But she has this central tubercle. When you fill that, it's important to discuss with the patient. She also has a little bit of a M-shaped lip, which can be a little difficult to fill, but you see a little volume out here. I actually like it. What does it do when your injector adds a little out there and goes through what we call the modiolus? Modiolus is where the zygomaticus muscles, the depressor anguli oris, and the risorius all come together with the orbicularis oris muscle of the mouth. And that's called the modiolus. So when your injector fills laterally and injects in this K fashion through the modiolus, what does it do that's important all about a lip? It elevates it. And that's why with older people, we don't want to fill the lip. If there's a downturn of the mouth, if there's fat here, a new full lip with aging features in the lower 1/3, which is where especially white females will age first, skin types to up to 3, we don't want to fill the lip unless we rejuvenate down here, things like plasma sculpt to tighten the skin. So let's reveal who number 2 is. Okay, you guessed it, Scarlett Johansson. Okay, been in many, of course, movies, from everything from Woody Allen to a superhero. And she always has that characteristic, really sexy smirk that she has, and that you see motor movement plays a big role in character, in the lip, in beauty, and that character creates who they are and what they are. And of course, characteristic features, brow going up and big eyes. So Scarlett Johansson in at number 2. So who do you think is number 1? Number 1, can you guess number 1? I'll show you the lips and I think you're gonna get it. But let's dissect the lips out and then we'll find out. If we look here at this picture, let's have a little look. If we draw a line through the middle, of course, we're looking for that golden ratio. And I think we have it. One of the most perfect faces there is. 1.61 to 1. We're looking at dentition as well. I'll tease that one of my videos, if it isn't published already, we're going to look at the perfect smile. But look at the sharp GK point, sharp vermilion border. Look at the ergotrid with the philtrum columns, okay? Philtrum columns. This is important, as well as this central tubercle that we can see, because that's an area you may or may not want addressed. Really draws attention to the center of the lips, and if this distance is short to the nose, the ergotrid up here, if that is short, then you don't want to accentuate the center of the lip. It will draw the eye there if it's short or long, or if you don't like it for one reason or another. But you can easily see these tubercles, 3 in the top and 2 in the bottom, with this keyhole lip, and that's downward pout of the lip, You can see here, very important. That's what people ask for when they come in. So we can as well see the masseters here and a wider jawline. You can take a wider mouth. Let's look at the complete face. I know already that you know exactly who this is. Let's bring her into view, and here you go. One of the most perfect faces, of course, that there is. And now we can look at the totality of the eyes. Look at asymmetries. I'm bringing up asymmetries today because I want you to realize they exist on all of us. We can certainly help correct them, but don't focus. It's not the most important thing. While it is an important part of beauty, no one's perfectly symmetric. Look at this brow here, arched up versus the other one. And when we look at the lips, fuller right here, a little different shape than on her left down there. So have a little look, and these are the philtrum columns I talked about. We draw a line straight up. It's from the edge of the mouth, it's through the colored part of the eye, somewhere within here, and when she smiles, of course, it'll be more towards the lateral limbus, but that gives you an idea too. Just one of the most perfect faces there is. Nice full temple on this side, high cheek. You can see this hollow where people get buccal fat removal, but the lips are some of the best in the business, and she's one that can run that central column, and that takes you to number one, Angelina Jolie. Of course, many humanitarian awards. She's been in many films, directed about 5 films or so herself. An amazing person. Has had double mastectomy for breast cancer prevention, and also has empowered many women to do the same if they've had that breast cancer gene, the BRCA. So it's important. She's an important figure and a star of Hollywood that I put as number one for the lips. What do you think? Did you like this video? Who's your top 5? Tell me in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this one. Have a super day. Keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.